I think the best moments for me has been just being a part of a very big dance explosion and being part of a movement and seeing it come from small 300, 400, 500 people clubs into main stage arenas. I think it's been an amazing journey to be a part of. We all worked very, very hard to get dance music as big as we could. Some didn't wish for mainstream, some tried to get to mainstream and cross over, but I think everybody worked very, very hard. I'm in the middle of what I think about the whole dance scene. I'm not a very big fan of the whole EDM terms and how it's become very fast food. I still believe in real records, and I still believe in artists that paved their way into becoming what they are today. I think a lot of people needs education in this business. This is not just a venture. This is something that a lot of people has worked for since the 80s. So I think the respect is due to the peers and everybody that we've learned from. Guys like Derek May and Carl Craig, and I grew up with the Swedish techno scene. For me, it was Karl Leckebusch and Adam Beyer and all those guys, Drum Code, and so for us, we need to tip our hats to them for making us what we are today. Even though our sounds don't cross paths, it's still because of them we're here. So I think I respect the explosion of dance music. I love the fact that we can go into arenas and sell 100,000 tickets. I think that's amazing because it's always been a dream for me. But I also think that we should be careful how we exploit the genre so it doesn't become McDonald's.
The EDM, which is I guess now called electric dance music. I don't know, I'm not really one on names, but I guess or titles, but I guess as humans we want a sense of belonging and identifying with people. So we have to have that to say, oh, I'm into so-and-so, oh, I'm into deep house, oh, I'm in jungle, I'm into tech house, whatever. But EDM, I don't really understand a lot of things in life, and I don't necessarily feel like I need to. But it has its purpose, and that's what I respect. It's not always 100% something for me to get or comprehend, but people are into it. And I look at it like I have a radio show on a really big thing in America called satellite radio, which you guys don't have in the UK. But the majority of the people who are presenting on this Sirius XM radio are more progressive house, trance, Tiesto, Sander Van Doorn, Paul Oakenfold. And I look at it as in, if someone's listening to a trance guy before me and they don't change the channel in their car, and all the thing they knew before was, progressive house or trance, and all of a sudden on their radio Josh Wink comes up, and they hear my show and they hear something different than what they're used to hearing. And then all of a sudden they can take that and go deeper and find out about all different kinds of music from only knowing, one style of music. So I just look at what I do as just in, one thing at a time.
Obviously the landscape now is very different to how it was, like what we're looking at now is it's more of a market now rather than an occupation. It's not like before when people used to go clubbing, it was as a form of release, like that was their reward at the end of the weekend at the end of the week because they've worked all week and stuff. Whereas like now dance music here is a business. And it's an incredibly fast-growing business as well. Like there are, people have realized the value of festivals like dance music festivals such as this one. People are beginning to realize that it's not something that is just for nerds and drug addicts and all this kind of stuff. It's real music, and there are real people behind it, and there are personalities behind it, and that has become it's basic. I mean, I guess one way of putting it is kind of like basically the new hip hop over here. Hip hop was an underground form of music that gradually got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until it basically dominated the charts. And you've only got to look at where we are now and see who's getting into the top 40 to realize that, you know, a lot of those artists, those hip hop artists, are looking to the EDM artists for inspiration. It's incredible how it's grown. I mean, I feel like it doesn't really bear any relevance to the original scene out here.
My views on EDM is, on the one hand, it's great for the industry. It's brought a whole load of new people in to dance music who might have been listening to country and western, especially in America. That it's kind of turned people onto what we do. And no matter how cynical you are about how commercial it is, I think the trickle down is felt within our industry, and you could be the most minimal techno DJ and you still feel a little bit of the bonus of how much money's about and how much interest there is. And people who kind of fed up with the big room sound maybe get drawn in by your Swedes and your Getters and then investigate around the fringes. I was saying to someone here, you know, you come to Ultra and you've got the big stage, which is, you know, EDM or PDM. But if you wander around the fringes, there's tons of really interesting shizzle going on, and it's, yeah, if it draws people in that wouldn't otherwise would listen to dance music, then they're now part of the family. On the downside, it has gone in all the wrong directions. It was all, what we did was always about love for the music first, and with so many people coming on board, the music's almost become secondary. The music's become quite cheap, quite bland, quite formulaic, and has driven a lot of people to go quite deep or quite underground again.
The States, I've been lucky, like I said, back in the days when I was a hip-hop artist, I used to come here as well, and I was facing a lot of trouble because from a kid from Germany spinning hip-hop or rapping, it doesn't exist here. Everything started in New York, you know what I mean? I've seen the big English acts when they came, Sasha, Digweed and all these guys when they took over the United States, and then everything was progressive. Then Madonna picked it up, Junior Vasquez and all Armand Van Heldens and all these guys. It's a huge scene. They made a lot of things moving. Don't forget about Detroit, the most important spot in the United States, which gets forgotten sometimes. Chicago, New York, of course. But, you know, then electronic music died here. It was like an overdose somehow, and nobody was interested into it. And America was always rock music, and then hip hop took over badly. Bam, bam, big market business. And now it seems like, yeah, it's coming back to electronic music, and here we are again. It's a circle, you know. I'm facing now, it's more the industry which is hyping up this whole EDM thing and whatever. And that's why I did the tour with Richie, the Control Tour, is to show the people there's something beyond that, something slightly different. And here we are again. You have so much great artists in the United States and so much great parties. They have nothing to do with all this EDM hype, you know? And for us now, it's important to represent it well, to represent it healthy, and to show the people, hey, we don't want this to happen again, that everything collapses and nobody want to listen to electronic music anymore. This is something which is always there and will be always there, and we're doing it right, you know? And come over to our parties and see what we are doing, how we combine technology, how we combine business, how we do everything, you know? And that's why we did the lecture with the students. It was a big success, and we were so happy about it. And even we catch just 2 people. 2 is more than nothing. You never know, you know? Like I said, the United States is a big market, and it's very difficult, like, to come, especially what gives me the right to come and say this is the right thing, what I'm doing. It's not the right thing. It's what I'm doing, and I represent it. You're more than welcome to join my circle. Come in.
This is Toolroom 10. A decade of hits brought to you by one of the world's most influential dance labels. 100 definitive club tracks mixed by Mark Knight. Featuring deadmau5, Teed, David Guetta, Tiesto, Underworld and many more. 100 tracks, 10 years, one iconic label. 10 from Toolroom Records. Available on iTunes now.